Most people think that reporting in Airtable basically means building a dashboard. But the truth is there are several ways that you can do better reporting for your organization through your Airtable system and Airtable data. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 key ways. We're going to build them step by step together in this video, and I'm going to tell you why you would use one over the other. What are the situations where one is preferred? We're going to dive into all of this in this video, so if you're ready to unlock better reports for your organization, stick around and let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Gareth and this is Gap Consulting. It's my mission to help you unlock the full potential of no-code tools using Airtable and similar tools in its orbit. Now, in this video, we are going to be taking a look at reporting, and the 3 different ways that we're diving into reporting are all native to Airtable. Now, of course, you could build many more advanced integrations and send your data to other tools for even more advanced reporting, but our focus here is on native Airtable. This is for beginner to advanced Airtable users. But before I get into the video, I want to offer you a lifeline. If you're struggling with your Airtable build, we offer free strategy sessions to our viewers. You can swing by our website at gapconsulting.io and on that homepage, click to schedule a strategy call with our team, and we will hop on a call and help you put forth a plan so that you can build your next project in Airtable even easier than before. But without further ado, let's hop on into number 1. And what we're going to be doing here is setting up a report that is automatically generated via automation. And of course, the automation is going to be in Airtable, and it also assumes that your data lives in Airtable. Now, when would you choose to do an automated report? Well, there's a couple of key indicators. Number 1, people don't always check dashboards. Dashboards are great, but it requires that your team actually goes there and seeks the information. And if we're honest, not everybody is good about doing that. So this solves that problem because the report is generated automatically and sent to the people who need it. Now, the other thing is, anytime that you might want a push on your reporting versus a pull. So this is kind of the same thing, but if people are using a dashboard, they have to go seek the information. Well, with an automation, we're pushing that data out. The report is being generated and sent out to the required parties automatically. So let's go ahead and hop on into my screen, and we're going to start with the data layer. So I have a pretty simple data layer. I've got deals here, and we're linking those deals to accounts. So every account has a name, the company that we're working on, the industry that they're in, the account size. Of course, there's an owner, an Airtable user, and then these are linked to deals. The deals side of things similarly links to the account. We're able to inherit the owner. This is a lookup from the account. And then at the deal level, we are tracking the stage of the deal amount, when it was created, and when it was closed. So in the case where we win a deal, we want to record that. Of course, the region of the deal and the product line. So what is it that we're selling on this particular deal? So in our example, we are imagining that we're going to do some reporting on this sales data. So let's imagine that we wanted to create a report on some kind of a cadence via automation. We're going to head over to the automation layer here. And the first thing we're going to do is set up a schedule. In order to do this, we have to click See All and come down to at a scheduled time. And Airtable automations have a lot of flexibility around when we can send out the scheduling. So we choose an interval, anything from minutes down to a single one-time use. So most likely, you're probably going to look at doing a daily report or a weekly report or a monthly or maybe even quarterly. So let's imagine that we do a quarterly report. So we're going to do it on the 3rd month on, let's say, the 1st of the month. And we can choose a time. We're going to run this out at, 8 a.m. So every 3 months on the 1st of the month, we will perform this automation. So if we started that in September, then the next one would run in December. So we can also choose the starting date if we wanted to make this set to do the first report, the quarterly report, let's say on April 1st, right? But we could test the trigger and pull in information and get an idea of when this would go. So now we've set up the automation to trigger on a consistent basis, and we have to find the data that we want to report on. So we can go and find records. We're going to look at our sales, or rather our deals table, and we can set up a condition about what it is we want to find here. So I might say the condition of the close date is within the last or the past, 30 days or 90 days, right? I want to make sure to capture a quarter. Let's go with a few extra days just to be on the safe side here. I'll say 93 days so that we don't lose anything. So I'm saying, look, anything that closed in the last 93 days, that's what we want to include. And you can see that we can pull up to 1,000 records in that search. So we're going to test this action and see what we actually find. And here are the deals that closed in the last 30 days from the date of recording. So as of today, it's January 25th. And so I'm finding things within the last quarter from there. Of course, when this actually fires off, assuming that the first time it goes into action is April 1st, then, of course, it will only include those things that were in the first quarter of 2026. So I'm finding the records, and now I have to do something with this. So I can send an email. I can, run a script, do some fancy automation. I think what I'm going to choose here is to send a message. So I can send a message in Slack or in Microsoft Teams, and I can choose what I want to do. So let's say I'm using my Gap Consulting Slack, our internal team, and I've got a big list of all the different, situations or channels that we're working on. And I just built a reporting example. So here's my reporting example, and I'm going to send out a message. So I can say something like, here's the sales data for last quarter. And now we can bring in the information that we found. Hit the plus, go to find records, and we can show this list of information. So we can bring in what it is we want to include. So it could be the deal name, the deal amount, and maybe the close date. So we can toggle in or off the different components here that we want to include in our list. So again, this was accessed by hitting that plus, going down to your find records component, and bringing it in. Now, we do have the other option, of course, of choosing this. We can use the field values, and so we can pop in like a stream here, but I don't find this to be as helpful as what I've just shared above, which is inserting the records as a list and selecting those things individually. So let's go ahead and test this out, actually. I'm going to generate a preview, pop this in. This is what it will send to my Slack. So that preview looks good, and we will go ahead and actually test the live data, and I'm going to bring my Slack into the window here, and this is what just got sent out in my new reporting example. So we see the deal name, the deal amount, and the close date, all of that with the sales data from the last quarter. So a great way to push that data out to your team if you want to make sure to push data out on any kind of reporting. Now let's zoom back out and take another approach. In this one, we're going to take a look at actually building dashboards inside of an Airtable interface. Dashboards are perfect when you want better visibility and live data that is constantly being updated. They're also really helpful if you want to show different data to different people. And I'm going to show you in our example here exactly how that's done in a dashboard, because as is the case with our example, we have two different people in charge of these different deals. So we want to show the person in charge of the deal what their deals look like. They might not care about what's happening in other areas of the business with other representatives of the company. They want to see their personal information. Obviously, it's also possible to include a holistic view of your data, but for our example, we're going to make it specific to the user. So let's go ahead and open up the interface component in Airtable, and we will build something here. We could use AI to build this. In fact, let's go ahead and do that because it'll get spun up more quickly. I've just pasted in a brief description that says, let's build a dashboard for our sales data in the deals table, and AI is going to do the heavy lifting for us. Now, I think AI, especially Omni in Airtable, is fantastic because it can do the basics for us. It gets us 90% of the way there. I'm going to still have to make some final tweaks here, and so I didn't over-engineer my initial prompt because I have no problem going in and making those changes myself. But I'm also happy to have Omni and Airtable AI do the majority of the lift for me. And as you see, it didn't take all that long. Now, what they didn't do here, they have nicely included the total deal value of all stages, the deals won, average deal size. Again, I didn't really give a very in-depth prompt, so this is an amazing first pass. Now, what I want to really highlight for us inside of dashboards in Airtable, I want to highlight the fact that we can apply filters here. So as you can see, we've got a few filters already set up. And that all happens here. We have to select first the entire dashboard. Don't select an element within the dashboard. This is where a lot of new dashboard builders get really stuck or hung up. Make sure you've selected the entire dashboard itself, and you can see that by the blue outline here on the sides. Once I've selected the overall dashboard, I can look at the user filters right here, and this allows whatever user is in the dashboard to apply some filters. So for example, I might look at a specific product line. I could say Enterprise Suite. And then all of the information on the screen instantly changes to reflect the Enterprise Suite product line. And I can even empower my users to select multiple platforms at once. So this is how the user settings work, the user filters. Those are contained right here on the right-hand side when I've selected the total interface. And so I can come in and make changes to these. Again, these were built by AI. I can change what field it looks at, and I can change the name, and I can change the default conditions. But understand that the default conditions are just what loads the first time somebody loads this interface. The user, these are user filters. The user can change the way that it is filtered. This is the default condition. So if I want to add more filters, just come to the plus here and choose what else you want to add here to the filters. So I can empower my users to filter the dashboard by any of the data that I'm putting in here. Now, the other type of filters, if we were to back up here to the overall data layer, so we're going to see that we also have the ability to filter by in the data layer. So what is this and how is it different from user filters? This layer, the data filter by, allows us to limit what's available for our users. Because the users can change these filters so that they can see the information they want on the dashboard, we can actually limit what is even allowed to come in to their dashboard in the first place. Now, as I alluded to already, I want to limit it so that my users are only going to see their information. If we go back to the data layer here, we're going to see again that we have the owner, the Airtable user. This is being looked up from the account, and this is the account owner. It's an Airtable user field, really helpful in building dashboards. So what I can do is go to filter by, and I can say that I have to find that owner field. The owner is or has any of, and then I click on add user, and I have the option to see the current user. What this means is the user who is logged into the dashboard, whoever that is, in this case, if it's me, Gareth, or Sarah, we will see our respective information and we will not be able to filter outside of our data. Because of the fact that this filter has been added to the filter by level, not at the user filters level. Hopefully that makes sense. It's definitely a little confusing the first time you build a dashboard. But now that I've got this stood up and performing correctly for me, let's clear the other user filters here and take a look at what happens to the data. I am previewing this as myself. So I'm seeing the data that I am assigned to, but I can impersonate Sarah and the whole dashboard changes. Every single component that is being included here is different because Sarah is assigned to different records, different data than what I've been assigned to. So this way, when your team logs in, when this is a live and published interface, your team will only see the information that they are assigned to, and this gives you advanced user control as well as the next layer down where your users can filter in the data they need. So this reporting option is amazing when you want live, constantly updated data that users can go to see the exact picture that they're looking for within the current moment in time. So now it's time to jump into the third way that we can natively report from Airtable. And we are going to dive into a newer feature for AI generation of reports. Now, we can do this from the data layer, we can do it from an interface layer, and of course, Airtable's AI assumes our permission level. So if we can't see information that lives in Airtable because we don't have access to that data, Airtable AI will not show it to us. So just bear in mind that the AI will inherit the same permissions, the same visibility, the same data as the user. So they will never get information that they don't have permission to see. That's a great safeguard, obviously something that's very important within any AI or LLM. So here we are, we're in the data layer, we're gonna give this a test. I open up Omni on the side, and I can go to the tools here and see the option to generate a report. Now, this does assume that I've toggled on AI for my organization. And if you haven't already done so, you can go to your account settings, enable AI for your organization so that it can do this work for you. Now, when we hover over this, we see that in order to generate a report, Omni will write a long-form summary, analysis, or overview, and that is exactly what we want. So for this use case, when would we use this? Well, when we don't really know what the right questions to ask are. Maybe we need some sort of reporting, but we don't know exactly what's going on. We need some analysis to be done for us, some of the heavy lifting, so that we know the next question to ask. That's when this type of analysis is perfect, right? If you are in an organization that always looks at the same KPIs every month or quarter, then this might not be the best for you. You could get your results in a dashboard. But if you're not sure what to ask next, analysis is going to help you get there. So I've put together a quick prompt here. Let's go ahead and take a quick read of it. It says, review the sales data in this table and generate, actually, let's say in the deals table, and generate a concise revenue report. Include total pipeline value, closed won revenue, notable trends over time, any deals that are unusually large or maybe skewing, bottlenecks or slowdowns, etc. So if you're not sure how to even come up with this prompt, you could go to AI, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your favorite AI is, and tell it, hey, I've got this information in Airtable. I would like you to generate a prompt for me so that I can then share it with Airtable AI to generate a report. That's exactly how I got this prompt. And let's go ahead and give it a spin. Make sure that you chose the reporting tool in order to get an actual report generated here. Now, this can be done for you from the data layer. And while it's thinking, I'm going to spin back to our interface layer in another window and just demonstrate that we can use it here as well. If we pop open Omni, we still have the ability to come in here and generate a report from the interfaces. So it's available in both spots. So here it is. It's going to do its thinking. It's finding the deals. I'm going to pause here because this one does take a little bit of time, and we'll present when it's done with its analysis. So it was about another 30 seconds or so that we had to wait, but the sales revenue report has been generated for us. You can see that it's been timestamped as for when this document was created, and we can open it up. So I've opened up the report. Here it is, full screen, sales revenue report, all of this completely built by AI using our Airtable deals data. So you can see the total pipeline value, the closed won revenue. We've got information here that is the same charts and graphs that you would see in Airtable. And conveniently, the ability to just take this graph and save it to a dashboard page. So you can use this reporting component in tandem with the interface dashboards that you build and improve those dashboards over time by including new graphs that you might not have considered. We see down here the revenue trends over time. So it's taken our sales data when we close it and kind of mapped it out over time, which is fantastic. The closed won revenue timing. So this is our actual data versus what's in our pipeline. And then a regional and product performance. I mean, I think you get the idea here. I have 150 sample records for this example. It has gone pretty deep in here to do some pretty awesome analysis. And the thing is, if you had an analyst in your organization, and I know this because this was my job before I found Airtable, gosh, I don't know, 75K a year might be the salary for somebody in that position, depending on how senior they are. So you're getting a report way more quickly than had you ask someone to do the analysis, and it's saving you up to, 100K a year on an employee's salary for this type of analysis. So it's amazing the amount of power that this type of AI generated reporting is putting in our hands coming from Airtable. This new feature is something you should not be sleeping on, even if you already have your dashboards built or your automations built to do your reporting. As we demonstrated in steps 1 and 2, you still might want to check this out because it might give you new ways to look at your information that you hadn't already considered. And as we already demonstrated, simply save those to your dashboard with a click. Just add it to an existing dashboard page or create a brand new dashboard inside of your interfaces. So that's it for this video. I hope you got a ton of value from it and you found a new way to get better insights from your data that lives in Airtable. Reporting on data that already lives in Airtable is the final part of the loop so that you can start making improvements to your business given the information that you already have and the data that you've already performed on. I hope you got a ton of value here. If you have questions that we did not answer in the video, swing by our website because we've put a ton of resources together for you. If you liked this content, we'd love a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the algorithm and helps us produce more content like this. But most importantly, keep on building.